CPU in iPhone 12. And thanks to our design and the latest transistors, the CPU is more energy efficient.
Has a faster aperture than any previous dedicated 2x telephoto camera on iPhone and can capture up to 1.6 times more light.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there because what really interests me was the artificial intelligence and the visual intelligence by Apple. Now, I must say, it's very impressive, right? It's their whole presentation was really impressive. So some key features I really enjoyed is, like I said, the visual intelligence, where you can take your iPhone, simply hold it up to, they said, any object or person or anything in your visual periphery, and you take a video with the sidebar or a snapshot, and it will show you exactly what it is, or it will tell you the details, which is, in my opinion, one of the next steps that we are going into in the future, and many more phones. I believe every phone will have to adapt at some point, because this is honestly the we are opening up Pandora's box right now. We are going into the new era of AI. We're going into a new era of artificial intelligence, which means all of your old phones, like if you still have a Samsung, if I'm not talking about the brand, but I'm talking about these old Samsungs or flip phones or whatever, just know they are practically now grandfather stage, right? This is even further than the iPhones that we have at the moment. All of these are, I would say, irrelevant now. Everything has become irrelevant. It's a whole new market, it's a whole new stage. Now we have to see what kind of AI features can be added, can be modified, can be adjusted, and it will create a whole new world, technically, because AI is impressive. This is very, very impressive. It's honestly very scary because it might become a lot smarter than we are in the future, and that's how I see the trajectory going. Is that at some point AI would technically take care of everything that we would have been able to. So our synapses are not going to work no more. We are going to become dumber and dumber and dumber. And the movie Idiocracy or Idiosyncrasy is going to become a reality. I've always thought it would become a reality, and it looks more and more like it. Now, if I'm also viewing this and I'm young and broke, and I don't have any avenue, I would be so motivated to make money at this point, because if not, you're probably going to be left behind very soon. And I don't say this to scare anyone, because I'm also young and not as wealthy as I want to be, but I'm scared myself, because this is one of these steps where you know that everyone that has access to a significant amount of wealth, who's able to invest, who's able to truly appreciate these items as soon as they come out and adapt and use them, has a significant advantage, which is scary, right? But I believe that's what all of these tech, crowds and techno freaks and want to do, right? And that's what they pride themselves on. They are not humble. Let's be honest. None of them. If you're a billionaire tech geek, or not geek, because I'm also a geek, right, or a nerd, but if you're let's say a billionaire, a young or old tech billionaire like Tim Cook, for example, or Mark Zuckerberg, I don't think they understand the average reality anymore, right? They've been living in this new reality for so long that they probably can't even relate what it's like to struggle to have food on the table. And the wealth disparity is increasing further and further, right? And there's more people that are struggling at the moment all across the world. I'm not only talking about the US or Europe, or I'm talking worldwide, and I see it daily. I see it with peers, and I see it with, well, not peers, but I see it with people my age, right? We're young, we're in our early 20s, right? Even late 20s is, even early 30s. But you would think by early 30s, if you go back 50 years, most people had a sort of a stable life. Okay, sort of some savings, maybe saving for a down payment, probably already owning or having a mortgage, right? And having a significant other, a fiance, children. But the trend that we are seeing these days is increasingly, you could say, negative compared to the past, but relative to the present and following the current trend line. And it makes complete sense, right? You have 30 something year olds still living at home because they don't have the ability to save with the increasing prices, with inflation. And then a release of an iPhone is just like a slap to the face, right? It's just like, look, we're releasing all of these new tools. We're going into the future. Tech is stepping into the future by using AI. By not only are people more and more afraid of losing their ability to be useful in this world or losing their jobs, but people are also becoming increasingly afraid of not being able to keep up with trends, right? And especially now that this society has been built up of trends, and most people are influenced by social media trends or by various, what your friend has, what is the new narrative, who is the new cool music artist, who. And it feels like all these companies and corporations have been creating agendas and pushing it to whatever side they want to, whatever side they put the most money into, whatever side they can benefit most, regardless of who it hurts, regardless of negative side effects mentally or emotionally or physically, and we are increasingly coming to a point where I believe it's going to be unstable at some point. There might be a revolution that, if we look back at history, that's what could happen. There might be a complete breakdown of classes where classes will fight. I don't know, right? We're seeing iPhone, it looks beautiful, I believe. Like, but they do this every year, right? Every year or every few months, every quarters, they come out with, iPhone 6, iPhone 9, iPhone 200, or whatever, right? And they make like minuscule changes, so you're excited for whatever big change they do that year, right? And you're like, it justifies the price. Yes. Imagine iPhone, every year they would create a whole new phone and come out with some crazy stuff every year. And then one year they say, no, we made our camera this much bigger and we added some new features. You would be losing your mind. You would be like, what the fuck would I give? Why would I spend a month's rent or 50% of my paycheck for a lot of people, right? Or 30% of my paycheck on a phone, that if I have a phone that's useful, if I have a phone that already works. But I believe it's getting to a point where these, and I believe, and I'm one myself, and I want to get to that point as well, be one of the billionaires pushing forward the environment, or just one of the inventors, one of the narrative builders, one of the shifters, right? But I feel like it's a bubble that might pop in a very ugly way at some point, because it's not how it used to be, like, oh, look, this is cool, they are releasing new features, but and I'm just speaking out of opinion, right? This is not my, this is not what uh, it's not how I feel emotionally, right? I'm not emotionally attached to it. I'm observant. So I'm just going to speak from outside standpoint, right? And I'm just observing both points rationally without being too partisan on one side, right? But I believe it's getting to a point where it might create class warfare because most people are struggling. Most people are struggling to pay rent, to not only be emotionally, mentally stable, physically healthy, but they are struggling with the rent, with the employment, with the job, increasing inflation, prices keep increasing, wages stay stable, and they keep getting fed these 20 something 18-year-olds millionaires, or these rich 40, 50, 30 something year old billionaires, right, who flaunt their wealth or their new invention, and it's becoming, and the mass of people that can relate is becoming less and less, right? So it's creating this really sharp tension, right, where people that can afford the new iPhone as soon as it comes out are super happy, right? Like they look at this and they're like, wow, yes, this is what I needed. Like, this is what I need. If I buy from my companies, I can write it off, that whatever, you know? But people that cannot afford to put food in their fridge are probably looking at this going like, this is so cool. Like, this tech is so cool. But how should I afford this? How should I even afford this? And by the time they have saved up enough money to afford it, they will probably be behind 2 gens, right? So it's not stable anymore. And this economy is not stable anymore, right? And it's cool. Artificial intelligence is amazing. Like, I know a lot of people hate it, but I believe it's incredibly amazing because it can be useful. It's literally the step into a new world, you know, these with the flying cars, with the pods and stuff. And I know a lot of people are against it, but me personally, I like it because that's where I want to be able to play and be part of and be a key player in it, right? And it might sound cynical, but that's what I think, right? But observing again from an unbiased standpoint, unemotional standpoint, I can only see it becoming increasingly tense, right? And these events are cool, like respect to Apple, respect to, you know, their whole corporation for building this. But I believe if Apple, for example, if Apple released, you know, but you can't, because if Apple released something that's accessible for everyone, like a phone that doesn't cost a shit ton of money, right? But then it would devalue the Apple brand. That's what I understand. But brands like Apple are going to be for select few in the future, right? Unless something overcorrects, it's going to be for select few. And I don't see this going well because what are you going to do with a new phone when you have people looting and rioting outside? I'm just saying. I hope not, but I'm just saying. So yeah, but besides that, visual intelligence is amazing, right? Some new key features are amazing. I really like the feature where you can take pictures and it will tell you. And I swear I had this idea a few months ago and I wanted to create an app doing it using AI, but I'm glad I did not do it because it would have been a waste of money. But yeah, it's, I don't know. What do you guys think? What would you say? Are we? I don't know. It's great. All of these features are great, but what do you think of the societal aspect of yeah, the human aspect? Are we forgetting everyone else, or are we just gonna keep pushing? Right. Let me know in the comments. Subscribe. I would appreciate that. And yeah, and I'll see you next video. And if you want to book a consultation, a meeting, whether you have a startup, a business idea, or established business, book a meeting in the link below. I'll help you. First meeting is free. Second meeting is a consultation, which will cost some money, but it can also save you a shit ton of money. So let me know. It's Hudson CEO. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.